Hey, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ryan. I am joined by...
I'm Nerdarchist Ted.
Nerdarchist Dave.
Okay, so today we're just going to talk about a deity that Dave and I had kind of brainstormed like on a drive over to Wawa one night.
So this is kind of part of our Game Master Tips
Game Master
campaign
Tips, campaign world building. So it's for our Gryphongaff campaign. So we came up with this deity who is called the Beggar King, amongst many other names and epithets.
Yeah, fueled by Wawa iced tea.
Yeah, iced tea and coffee, yeah.
And if you're not from the East Coast, sorry, you don't
Suck
know
it.
what Wawa is.
Yeah, I'm sure there's, like the gas station convenience store type of ish.
But we've had people go call it out in the videos in the comments, like, I know that bottle.
Yeah.
I know that iced tea.
At one point in time, somebody asked me during one of the online games, it's like, what is that that you're drinking? It looks delicious.
Well, you can't have it.
It's
I'm
just
like,
loaded down with sugar.
It's my standard gaming drink.
Yeah. So
the Beggar King.
yeah. So basically, we came up with this conception of this chaotic neutral deity that is kind of like he's the patron saint of like drunkards and beggars, and
He's got a lot of different names.
yeah, a lot of different titles.
King of Copper.
Yeah, or the Flea King, like anything that's
Yeah.
like kind of he's got like this
Lord
sort
of Fleas.
yeah.
King of Copper.
Yeah. So like stuff
Yeah.
like he's associated with like, begging and like lice, fleas, maybe even ticks. Like basically the small annoying insects and that kind of thing. But people
But why should anybody care about him?
why should people care about him? Because if people are panhandling you in our world, most people out of tact give to a said beggar because they never know if that's the Beggar King and another guy's just on the prime material actually begging for coin, and if they fail to give at least a copper to this individual, then they get some sort of annoyance like lice or something like that will infest them, bed bugs or something. So
Nice.
so he metes out punishment. Like it's not the greatest of punishments, but it's not something that you
But
want
it's
to deal
annoyance,
with.
right.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to deal with. So
Yeah.
that's one aspect that we had come up with.
So what's the priest of the Beggar King look like?
Well, I was totally thinking of the idea,
They look like Gizzeray.
right, like basically the beggar, the street prophet, like the crazed person top of his lungs
Yeah.
on the street corner, in these tattered robes. That's one idea of what it could be. Actually, I had
Moses only crazier.
right, exactly.
Or would he be the other direction, and seeking out others who are begging to, reward them for essentially doing what, this God is all about.
the good Lord's works, or he could even be like, like somebody that does a charity thing where they give meals out to beggars. Like that could be part of the church thing, or an inn where some of them could stay, like a flop house type of thing. That could be a part of his devout. And I actually had an idea that I'm going to create for a pre-gen character for a con game that I'm going to be running. A paladin of the Beggar King, who basically he was a soldier, saw some terrible things in war, and basically became like a drunkard that he sits on the corner on a crate and legs, and he's usually drunk when he can be, when he's got the coin to do it. Sometimes urinating himself. Like I was basically thinking of somewhere between Billy Bob Thornton from Bad Santa and Sander Clegane, the Hound. Like,
my
so if you
God.
can imagine that sort of like personality, like this chaotic neutral
Can't
paladin.
think of anything more horrible to add in there.
Yeah, right. So this chaotic neutral paladin who, like, whether people believe it or not, because most people don't, like he's been called by his
Right,
deity.
so-
Most people don't even believe it.
So he's a paladin of this guy.
Avenging oath.
Is lice? Would that be a disease? Could they get lice?
Lice are not a disease. Lice are a parasite.
Okay. Just
So I'm also like envisioning to go along with this deity, first of all, the holy symbol is probably like a copper piece
Yeah, something like that. Maybe like a ratty looking copper crown.
or alms.
Yeah, alms.
I don't know, man, but they always beg for them.
Yeah, they beg
think
for
that was
him, but
a
just
type of
asking for
coin.
coins. Yeah.
It's a type of coin.
Yeah.
But You know, and I'm also thinking like associating like a magic copper piece with this deity.
Yeah. Well, actually, so for this paladin character, I was thinking about a suit of plate mail that looks like it's barely functioning and rusted, but is like magically imbued, so it functions quite well and might even have some other properties about it. Like maybe once per day, it could like give somebody like insect plague or something like that. You know, like some sort of annoying spell that would be associated with the deity that
Bestow
like
curse.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I think bestow curse fits better than insect plague because that's like a.
Yeah, well,
no, like I think there's one like summon swarm or something, something where like it makes concentration hard for somebody, you know, like that kind of thing. Like not.
Yeah, but if you use bestow curse, you kind of can like flavor it to be you want.
Yeah, it bears a little bit of research, but like the idea of like like the straps for this plate mail look like they're gonna fall off at any moment, but like it functions perfectly fine.
Well, so like maybe like one of his prophets. One of his first prophets actually crafted, magic items or whatever, made that suit of armor, made the copper coin, and you could basically do a whole magic set really based right around that. So, and it always looks like crap.
Always
when
looks
you find it.
Yeah.
So what do you see about this coin? You started going into.
I don't know. It's a copper magic coin.
It's just a magic coin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it could be anything. It could be. It
could be, dude.
They pay for stuff with it. It comes back to them.
No, well, I mean that could be a thing. But what if when you go to like, you give it to someone else, like say you donate it to someone, that like grants you a wish.
Yeah, I think that's too powerful.
No, I mean like
it's a one-use item. I mean, there are other things in the game that grant a wish.
Yeah, and like you have to, you're not even going to know to do it. Like, so it's like totally random happenstance if you happen to give that coin to a...
It has to be given for free?
Yeah. It has to be given for nothing type of deal. Like, yeah, to grant a wish that, like, you can only ever in your lifetime get once. And, like, it keeps replenishing itself because it's, like, a high-end magic item. But, like, yeah, it's literally, you have to freely give it.
So I would see, maybe there are multiple, different magic coins for this guy. But the way I would see it is, like, any coin that you give to, essentially two panhandlers will come back, and essentially it's like the next time you were to gain treasure, anything that you've given away is just added to, it just mysteriously shows up. Then after you've counted it. Well, more.
One of the other things we got talking to, because this was like a few months ago that we had this conversation, like we had this conception of him being like a coin hoarder and like stingy. So like there's some place on the there's just there's
a cavern full of copper
coins.
It's all copper.
And like yeah, and he might be like reconstructing like the world in copper coins, like stacking them or whatever.
Nice.
Like just something ridiculous.
He may be a gold piece millionaire in coppers.
Yeah. So he's going to be kind of stingy. I was even thinking like a bit of his priesthood would be like, that sort of oath of poverty sort of thing. I mean, you're encouraged to be reckless with your coin, and you're gonna be like poor. Like that's kind of just like if you're a paladin of him, totally have the old school like one suit of armor, one melee weapon, one shield. Like
wait
all
a
the
minute.
restrictions.
What I'm hearing is you have to live your life as a goblo.
A goblo, yeah, pretty much. yeah. You have to be.
What about beggar bread?
Beggar bread?
Yeah, I just feel like beggar bread should be something.
What would beggar bread be?
Like maybe one of their holy sacraments or something.
Maybe it's something that
they share a minor magic item or something, like the bread did, like finishing itself.
Maybe that could be a decent thing.
That was a Jesus thing, right?
It could be like a hero's feast like type of thing too.
Yeah, it could be.
And
but
something
or a consumable magic item, or maybe not so consumable magic item.
Well, it could be that like it could be charged, and if you don't use all the charges, then it could replenish itself type of deal.
Well, yeah, because I guess it would come in a bread bag or something,
Yeah.
Wonder, Stroman. No, it comes in a sack or something, and
it's got to look ratty. Whatever it comes in, it's got to look like shitty.
So
and the next day,
I would say, like, if it's actually like a food that replenishes itself, like if it ever gets full, like it goes away.
No. You would do it like other magic items where it has charges, like you said. If you use them all, you roll the D20. If you roll, is it a 20 or a 1 or whatever, it disintegrates. If it doesn't, the charges come back.
So I would do it as opposed to, when you roll that 1, it doesn't disintegrate. It just disappears and goes somewhere else on the plane. So,
Well, what's the difference?
thematic.
It's lost to you. That's one thing. But
Yeah, it's gone.
so another thing I was thinking about this guy's priesthood is to play into the stinginess. Like he's kind of anti like any res sort of magic, any resurrection.
Mhm.
Like his thing is like you only get one life.
Right.
You only live once. Right? YOLO. so like his whole thing is like unless I set aside a divine purpose for you to do a thing, I don't bring you back to life because I'm stingy about most things.
Well, that sucks. I'm not playing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
No revivify?
Yeah, no revivify for that person. Like, yeah, basically, unless there is, like, a God-anointed task for you to do, he's just like, you've lived your life.
So, well, is it for the priest, or the priest can't cast a spell?
I was thinking that it was on the individual.
Oh.
Priest could cast a spell, but if you're of the faithful of him, the spell just doesn't work for you.
So, like, if Ted's, so Ted's fighter that isn't worshiping the Beggar King is in the campaign with your cleric of the Beggar King, and he just died, and so you cast Revivify, it works.
It works on him, yeah. It just won't work on, like, his
But
paladins.
if you put Revivify in a spell storing ring, and then he uses it on you,
yeah, it's not going to work.
you hear wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was like a thematic thing, and like sometimes characters just die, and that's that.
And that's
Then
that.
you just move on.
Excellent. Sometimes the characters just die.
Words to live by.
Yeah, well, it happened. Mark's character just died.
He did just die.
So it's been sessions since I've killed a character.
Yeah, since we're getting ready to game tonight.
Yeah, Ted's getting bloodthirsty again.
Yeah. So another thing I was thinking about with this deity is, so you have Thieves' Cant. I was thinking about a written version of Thieves' Cant. We could have a language called Signpost. So if you know anything about like hobos in like the 1930s or 40s, they had.
I must say, I don't.
Okay, so
educate me on hobos in the 1940s.
I mean, like, I don't have a ton of knowledge, but I do know that like they would basically like scratch little like symbols or glyphs.
back in Ryan's hoboing days,
right.
This is what I learned.
So like on a signpost or the fence or whatever somebody's house, like they would scratch like if there would be a symbol if the person's going to be willing to give you food or like or this person has a gun and will react violently. Like they had a symbol for like stay away. They had a symbol for like this is a good place to go and all kinds of different things.
And it was all over the place. There would be markers to point you in the direction of a place that you could get a bed for the night or that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And it was
You hoboed too?
No,
these guys in their secret hobo lives, I never even knew.
I don't hobo, but the internet is full of lots of useless knowledge.
Yeah,
so.
Useless, interesting fact.
Am I the only one that did not research hobos?
You don't know hobo life, son. Hobo life.
Yeah.
The internet, it's full of things other than porn.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? Is there really? There's
Yeah,
other
really,
things?
yeah.
I don't think so. There's a song that fits this perfectly.
Okay, so moving on. So the idea is that would be like something that was kind of started amongst his faithful was this sort of signpost language, but it made its way into Thieves' Cant. So like sort of the written Thieves' Cant has its roots back in the Beggar King.
Okay, just so like a thematic like history thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I thought that would be kind of neat to do.
So how does that even come out in the campaign though?
So, would you have to know Thieves' Cant to be able to read signposts?
Yeah, you would.
And,
yeah, absolutely.
So, what kind of restrictions does a cleric have, or a cleric or paladin be able to get?
You could always take criminal as your background because you're a beggar. Beggar is clearly under the criminal background things, and it totally fits.
Criminal or urchin.
Yeah, or I would say that like one of your language selections could be Thieves' Cant. Like as a cleric or paladin of that. So, and because now paladins don't have to be lawful good,
right?
It kind of makes sense. So,
and beggars sometimes are in the know. Sometimes they're like little crime organizations unto themselves anyway.
Right.
It's like a pickpocket ring.
Yeah, no, you definitely like you have beggars that like work different corners at different times. Like it's like the job, for them.
No, absolutely.
So they punch in. So
I don't know. We a little while ago we did a video on Kenku. And the Kenku and the Beggar King, I feel like maybe there's a connection there.
Like you could have these like sort of like derelict looking Kenku where like their feathers are matted and kind of like falling off, whatever.
They look like birds molting.
Yeah, malting birds, and like that's the flock of the Beggar King. Beggar King's flock.
The flock.
The
Nice.
flock.
Yeah,
There
absolutely.
could definitely be a Kenku Beggar King cult.
Yeah,
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
maybe that's like kind of like, and maybe these ones are like not as benevolent as other ones.
Malevolent. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. And they're not quite benevolent either. But you
They're chaotic neutral, like they are in the book.
Yeah, you can have them in the, in cities, and it's like kind of like a problem, but they don't actually really do anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I could totally support that whole.
Yeah, in a large city, a small population of them, they don't really break the law other than they beg and they refuse to work and be productive in any
Right.
shape, way, or form. But they're not the stab you in the throat kind of Kenko either.
Yeah, but I also see like they're the faithful of him is of the Beggar King is kind of like a defenders of the downtrodden sort of thing. So like the guy that's like going to defend like if guys are in the neighborhood like toughs or like beating up on beggars, like the guy that'll step up and defend them, or like step in and defend bar wenches and like and courtesans and prostitutes.
So that guy gets stuck being like a cleric of the Beggar King whether he wants to or not.
Well, it could be the unwilling cleric.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I see him trying to like dodge the holy beam.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, it could be because my paladin concept is like the guy like you're not quite sure if he's just crazy or if he really is a paladin. Like that was kind of the inspiration for it, and like even he's not even quite sure. He's like, why the hell? I'm just always in these situations.
Why does that happen to me? I just want a beer.
Yeah, I just want to drink,
and I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. So.
That's the Beggar King.
Indeed.
So, yeah, I could totally see the thing with, like, putting the coins on the eyes.
So essentially now that our first and most fleshed out deity is a total derelict.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Stands on par for Nerdarchy.
We have a couple.
Yeah, we have some other Pantheon
a couple decent things going on.
But I think we should unveil them like a video of the shot because it gives us a chance to really get some more breadth into the what they are. We've came up with some stuff kind of on the fly here and based on some prior discussions.
So what does the rest of the Pantheon think of the Beggar King? Like, is he on the outs because he chose to be or because he was put there? Like, did he do something to offend one of the more powerful deities and they cast them out? Or
is he just sympathetic to those of lesser means?
Yeah. Well,
or, ill-gotten luck or whatever.
So also too, so the frame, the whole Pantheon that we're thinking about doing this thing where there's sort of the dark and light version, like the positive negative energy version of all of our deities,
right.
And like what manifests on the prime is kind of the average of what's going on in that sort of celestial high level thing. Like, but I almost like want to make him outside the hierarchy, and he's just got like his prime self entity. So he's outside of the battle between good and evil.
So he doesn't have that dichotomy.
He's non-dichotomous. So like maybe he is like a lesser deity, but he's like closer to the people on the prime than some of the others.
I completely, envisioned the Pantheon the opposite of what you just said.
What's that?
The people see the dark and the light, and it's only the one aspect.
Yeah. No, yeah. There is the only one aspect, but the aspect that's most purely like manifest. Is like if evil is clearly winning, that side's more heavily manifest in the world. Why? What were you going with?
Kind of like the opposite. so no. Basically, that it is just one deity, but they get revered for two different aspects.
Yeah, it is. But sometimes, if one side is going to be more heavily. If one side is getting heavier homage in, say, a millennia or a century or whatever, they're being much more
like
that.
Like I saw it as people in the world saying two different deities, but it's actually the same deity.
Right. They ascribe them different.
So there's only two aspects.
Right. I almost feel like.
I feel like you're talking about a third aspect now.
So. They have both. There's like both versions of the deity on the positive and negative
magnets.
plane.
How do they even work?
Magnets. I see it as there's a deity on either plane, positive, negative. But then there's like the will, the manifestation onto the prime.
All right, so you're kind of seeing like the split of the deity manifests in two different places depending on perceive it, and
Well, no, it's manifested in both. Just like. One's getting heavier shrift than the other at a given point in history.
So the people, the common folk, are they aware that there's that these two things are one, or do
No.
they just okay? So they just see it as okay. There's A and there's B. A is evil, B is good, or vice versa, whatever. And the actuality is as a divine creature. It's just two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, see, the way I see it, like for instance, the knowledge deity would be okay. Like the good side is basically education, knowledge, magic, refinement. Where the dark side would be like secrets,
Power.
hoarding, power, knowledge, that kind of thing, right? But it's the same thing. But there's two different
Interpretations.
Yeah, two different interpretations, and the deity is both.
Yeah. Okay, I could, and even so, so we're talking about no matter how we finally explain that ultimately, but like I like the idea of the Beggar King
Being
just
outside of it.
outcast of it all. Like he just so like there's like the celestial realm, not even saying like a holy place, just like a realm outside of
The
the
celestial
common folk.
hierarchy.
Right, the planes,
Yeah.
whatever. So him being completely outside of that, and he's just he exists on the prime, and I like the idea of like him like having like his own like heads and tail coin type of thing.
Yeah.
Two sides of the same coin. Like basically, he's like he gets the cosmic joke of like all these deities. He could even be kind of the patron saint of was it the misotheists, the people that like hate gods.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could because he's like they're all bullshit. It's the same. This is the same one, and like so his prophets like come across kind of mad, but they actually know what's going on in a greater realm.
Leaves them,
Right, because of the whole drunkenness and like this and that. Like
and they're covered in fleas.
Yeah, the other things associated with the Beggar King. So like it's that King Lear thing of that like the wisdom of madness.
Right.
Interesting.
So have we begged this one out?
I think we've given enough alms to this video, for sure.
On that note, you guys like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think.
Head on over to nerdarchy.com.
Or you can check us out on Twitter.
All right, well, until next time,
Stay nerdy.